you all for joining me today. This is a very important topic, I think, and timely to the beginning of the year, because even though it's still probably pretty cold where most of you all are, and summer camp seems, the idea of it seems so far away, this is really the perfect time to begin thinking about it and exploring the options, as most registration for summer camps open up in January. I also wanted to mention that this webinar is a collaboration between myself and Jeanna Martinez, who is our Certified Child Life Specialist at the Johnson Center. So first, I just want to open up with a few questions that I think are important to consider when you're just thinking about, sending your child with special needs to summer camp, just from a global perspective. So these are some of the questions that we are going to kind of explore and answer throughout the webinar. So why is it important for my child to attend summer camp? What benefits will my family receive from looking into these services? How will the decision affect me or my other family members? What questions should I ask when looking into summer camps for my child? What resources are out there on summer camps for children with special needs? And finally, where can I find these camps? So really, I just want to point out that summer camps are really a wonderful opportunity for your child to meet other peers outside of their typical environment, to develop and grow social skills, and create long-lasting friends and memories. And summer camp can also be a chance to instill independence and confidence in your growing child. There's also the issue of normalcy, which is poignant for those children with special needs. And summer camps can provide an opportunity to experience those normal activities that may be particularly challenging in an everyday setting. Many of these summer camps that we're going to talk about today provide accommodations so that children can practice traditional activities such as arts and crafts, boating, challenge courses, just all those fun things that we all associate summer camps with. And again, something that I just wanted to make sure to reiterate is that summer camps can, in fact, I'm sorry, when one person in a family has a special need, it definitely affects the entire family. And research across the board indicates that being a caregiver for a child with special needs affects so many different aspects of your life, including your mental and physical health, your sleep and daytime functioning. And so, it's just really important to remember that exploring an option of summer camp for your child with special needs can not only be a wonderful thing for them, but can be a great thing for the whole family as well. And that is one of the reasons why I want to talk about respite. And for those of you that aren't familiar, respite care is defined as the temporary relief of caregivers or family members caring for those with disability or special needs. It provides the opportunity to re-energize and recharge. As previously mentioned, parents or caregivers take on a huge responsibility that may affect their mental and physical health. Summer camps can provide the respite care parents need to feel relief from the physical and emotional demands of caregiving. So just going along with that, respite care it really is an integral aspect of holistic care for parents of children with special needs. And just as a parental instinct, most caregivers automatically put the needs of their children before their own. But just understanding the importance of self-care can really help increase, your ability to serve the needs of the family in general. So this is something that I thought was really important to mention. Just simply sending your child off to summer camp is not going to guarantee that respite care that you're looking for. And it's so important for you as caregivers to feel that the camp is providing a safe and enjoyable experience for your child. And really, that's most of what we're going to talk about today is how to ensure that you're confident in the choice you're making to send your child to camp and that you're confident the camp is going to provide a safe environment for your child so that you truly can, take that respite. And this is just so important to remember when you're choosing that summer camp. So this is just another aspect to consider. Not only does camp provide an opportunity for relief, but just in terms of family functioning, caregivers are given an opportunity to spend more time, in other areas of their life that they may not typically be able to focus on, like other children, siblings, or maybe extended family members, or just spend time with their friends. Um, Parents often report having better relationships after their child returns from camp due to just the recharged energy that they were able to receive over the break. Going along with that, there is an opportunity also, and this may be something to consider if you really can't imagine leaving and making that separation from your child for an extended amount of time. Family camps are an option, and there can be some really wonderful opportunities there. These camps can serve as a chance to be away from your typical routine and kind of shake things up to allow parents and other family members to do things that they didn't think were possible. And again, just to bond together in a safe and understanding environment. So one of the most important things to consider is your child ready for camp? That's probably the first question that pops up in most of your minds. In each child, their camp readiness is going to vary. And so it's just important to consider all of the options and just trust your intuition. So really there's two basic options for summer camp. There's obviously the overnight camp, which kind of most of you probably consider a summer camp being, and then there's also day camps that are available. And most of these camps obviously need to be local. And so you might have to do a little bit more exploring in terms of those options. But they can both provide just wonderful opportunities and both have some wonderful benefits. So just things to consider. If it's an overnight camp, you have to recognize that there could be some travel involved, and that typically there is an age range that overnight camps require, and most start from 8 to 9 years old. Also, overnight camp can instill an experience of independence that really can't be gained in any other setting. So that's a wonderful thing to consider. For day camps, obviously there's some wonderful things about that, just the accessibility of it. Also, most therapy centers and schools can offer some day camp options, and that's something to consider if you are looking to do this for the first time. Other places that you can look into day camps, churches, schools, and art centers are also wonderful resources for those day camps. So these next two slides are just going to be some questions that are really great to consider, and just answering these questions out loud or jotting some thoughts down when you're answering these can really help you, get to a point where you can decide whether or not your child is ready to stay at maybe an overnight camp or a day camp. Has my child successfully stayed overnight away from home while family members were present? So have you gone on a vacation or maybe stayed over at grandparents' house? Has my child ever successfully stayed somewhere overnight without me or my spouse being present? How does my child feel or behave when separated from family members? How does he or she cope with new experiences? Does preparation for a new experience help with this coping ability? Has he or she been exposed to any positive or negative information or myths about overnight camping from schoolmates, relatives, or neighbors? And if so, has he or she been influenced by them? Has my child expressed any concerns about the experience? Is he or she receptive to the idea of going away to camp? And I think that's important to consider, just thinking about the idea to them. Have they heard about summer camp from some of their peers? Do they, have some of their siblings talked or experienced going away for summer camp? Has my child ever been to a day camp? Has he or she visited a fellow family member at an overnight camp on Visitor's Day? Is he or she intellectually mature enough at this time to be away for an extended period without parental support? Or would a day program be more suitable as a first-time camp experience? Maybe consider, would one night rather than 4 nights away from home be a better first experience? And lastly, would any typical camp activities or social situations pose an extreme challenge or be a source of stress for my child? For example, would engaging in sensory-based craft activities, eating camp food, or getting dressed in a common area make my child very uncomfortable? And if so, would additional maturity and time minimize the problem, or would this be a persistent issue that will just need to be addressed? And there's more that you can read about kind of considering things to evaluate your child's camp readiness, and I've put a link there at the bottom of the page that you can visit to continue kind of going through those questions. And going along with that, I also wanted to mention, if you feel like, just a little bit overwhelmed with the idea of camp readiness with your child, start with an incremental plan to get ready. You could start off small, staying at a familiar place like a grandparent's house or over at a friend's house, just starting off staying late, a couple nights a week, and then perhaps transitioning to staying overnight, somewhere familiar with a parent there. And then once that becomes comfortable, staying overnight without a parent. And then finally, transitioning possibly to, say, a weekend trip without parents. So just understand that you can approach this from an incremental perspective and kind of develop a plan to get to that point. So don't be overwhelmed no matter what you gauge that your child's readiness is. So I wanted to bring up the American Camp Association, and this is kind of a symbol that you might see when you're exploring options for summer camp. And it really is just a wonderful thing it's kind of a reassurance. So the mission of the American Camp Association is to enrich the lives of children, youth, and adults throughout the camp experience. So the American Camp Association has credentials that they follow when certifying an American Camp Association accreditation for a camp. So this is just something to consider if you want to look for this when you are searching for the perfect camp. Other reasons why you should consider choosing an ACA accredited camp, just first of all, experience. This association have joined together for over 100 years, and so they really help ensure the quality of those camp programs. And just as a point of reference, just because a camp is not ACA accredited, it doesn't mean that it's not a right fit for your family. Doing your own research can help you come to this decision. So it takes time to become ACA accredited, and some of those younger camps out there may not have that yet, but it again doesn't mean that it's not the right fit for your family. So again, just, first of all, get to know the camp. It's extremely important to remember that all parents feel nervous sending their child to camp for the first time. In order to address these concerns and anxiety, parents should become knowledgeable about the goals and the history of that specific camp, as well as get to know those camp counselors. So doing all of these things before sending your child to camp for the first time can just help soothe those feelings of anxiety and can really help you relax and feel confident in sending your child to a summer camp. So now we're kind of going to talk about, once you've explored your options and you have maybe a list of, 5 or 10 camps that you want to explore. What do you ask these camps? What are the important questions? Once you get the initial point of contact, you want to make sure you have that list of questions ready to go so that you can either, send out an email or a fax to get those answers asked, or if you've got someone on the phone or you've gone to visit the camp, you have your list and ready to go. So first we're going to start off talking about just the basics, and I like to start with the basics because these first questions are really going to rule out some of those camps that are not going to work for major conflicts. So these are just 6 questions that I think are good to ask initially and upfront. Where's the camp located? If travel is out of the question for your family, that's an important thing to find out initially. How long are the sessions? So, oftentimes camps will offer a range, but it's really important to know based on your child's camp readiness how long the sessions are offered for. Thirdly, what's the cost? This is, no matter what, this is always going to be an important factor for most families, building it into your budget for the year, and asking if it's a necessity, are scholarships available? Another question that's important, is it co-ed, girls only or boys only? And this is something that, again, is just going to be determined based on your child's preference and what you think that would be the best option for them. What's the age range of the campers? Again, you don't want to go through the process of enrolling your camper only to realize that they were turned away due to an age restriction. And then what's the staff to camper ratio? This is particularly important for our families with special needs. Depending on your child's needs, you might need a lower staff to camper ratio. Something like 1-to-1 might be a necessity based on your child. So that's just, I think, an important upfront question to ask. And then once you get through those basic questions and you feel that you've narrowed down your list and you have a good group to base off of, what are some more in-depth questions that you can ask? And these are kind of getting into the details, and making sure that you kind of hit every bullet point. So these are just some important ones that I think are important to go into. What type of certification do the counselors have? So this can vary based on the camps and their certifications and training for their counselors. They should definitely be able to describe that to you. What's the camp's philosophy? I love this one. I think that each camp typically has their own kind of tagline or philosophy, and just knowing that and understanding that can really help you get a feel for what the camp stands for. What's the camp's transportation system like? So, for example, if the camp includes day trips away from the campgrounds, or for example, if you're choosing an out-of-state camp and you are going to require travel to get there, do they have a transportation system that can help your child to and from? This next one is particularly important for a lot of our families. If our child needs a special diet, can they can't provide those appropriate meals? And if not, can we as parents provide food for our child? Do staff members have a background working with kids with special needs? This seems like kind of a given, but oftentimes it's important to ask because it can again just make you feel more confident with the counselors that are going to be working with your children. Do the counselors have first aid training? Again, this is something that typically camps do require for their counselors. However, it's not every camp. It's not their priority to require first aid training for the counselor. So that's an important thing to ask as well. Going on with that, what kind of medical staff is available and during what hours? And if your child does require medications, is there staff that can administer these medications? That's really an important one to target and to explore if your child does require medications. If your child has some behavior problems, what is the training and experience of the available staff? And it's important to consider bringing up a typical behavioral problem that your child might have and asking those camp administrators how they might handle those particular situations. And then going along with that, hopefully you won't have to worry about this, but it's important to troubleshoot before those situations arise. So what's the procedure if your child develops a complication related to his or her medical problems? How far is the nearest hospital? Really important thing to consider just for peace of mind. If your child needs specialized treatment, is it available at that hospital? And then, I think this is just a really important one to ask these camp counselors, how do they communicate with parents? Some camps, they have restrictions. So they say that, you can only communicate with your camper through written communication. There might be a phone number, but it's only available during certain times of the day or certain times of the week even. So if you feel that it's necessary to have that constant communication, it's important to ask that to those counselors. And then finally, once you get through all of these basic and in-depth questions and you still feel like some of these camps would be a good fit for your family, make sure to ask, how do you sign up? And is there a deadline? That's something that often we skip over, just considering all of the other details and questions. And this is just something important to keep in mind and to kind of jot down in the notes section, just so that if it is a camp you are wanting to apply for, what is the deadline. So now before I move into kind of discussing some particular camps and bringing up some specific camps that we are choosing to focus on and kind of highlight, I just wanted to mention, that we're unable to verify if this information is current or accurate, just because this information was gathered directly from the camps and their promotional materials. So, before you sign up for these camps, please confirm all the information directly with them and ask these same questions to ensure your child has a safe and positive experience. And again, we also welcome feedback on your camp experiences, and we definitely want recommendations for camps we may not be aware of at this time. So again, please understand that these lists are not fully inclusive. We've just highlighted a few just to show you what's out there. So first, just because I know we have a lot of listeners from around the globe, we're going to talk about national camps, and I'm going to include camps from Colorado, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Mississippi, Connecticut, Georgia, California, Florida, Alaska, Nantucket, New Hampshire, and New York. So as you can see, this is, there's a huge range of camps across the United States that you can consider. So Camp Lemar, this is located in Lackawaxen, Pennsylvania, and their tagline is a special camp for special kids. Camp Lemar, I want to point out that they mainly are catering to mild to moderate learning and developmental challenges. So that's important to consider. And, they've been around for over 55 years. And I think that that's an important thing to note. They've got a lot of experience. This is a co-ed camp, and they have a staff to camper ratio of 1 to 3. They serve ages 5 to 21. And, their price point may seem a little bit higher, but they offer 7 week sessions. So this is a little bit of a longer residential co-ed camp program. And as we go through, I'm not going to go over every detail of these camps, but again, this recording of this webinar is going to be up on YouTube, so you're welcome. If we're going across a camp that particularly piques your interest, you're welcome to kind of pause the screen on our YouTube channel and read a little bit more about these. Most of them I will offer a link at the bottom where you can visit to kind of explore more about those camps. Camp Awesome, another great camp in Saint Germain. That is another co-ed camp. Their tagline is, "We are a punishment-free zone. Absolutely no old school behavior modifications. Our philosophy is that if a child is struggling behaviorally, there is a reason: sensory communication or lack of understanding." So Camp Awesome, they use visuals, social stories, comic strip conversations, and collaborative problem solving, and definitely holds the belief that less is more when it comes to talking. Camp Awesome is in a beautiful setting in Moon Beach, and kind of offers a typical camp experience with all the trimmings. The staff to camper ratio is 2 to 1, and they serve ages 9 to 15. And they also offer family sessions as well, if you're interested in that. They can also offer gluten-free, casein-free diets here in a family-like setting. Camp Kaleidoscope, I love this name. Camp Kaleidoscope provides an inclusive adventure-based program that provides support for individuals on the autism spectrum, their friends, and their families. Again, I think experience speaks for itself. This camp has been in business for over 11 years, and it has evolved in response to the specific needs of children with autism. And this past year, they formalized their training program in conjunction with the Institute of Disability Studies at the University of Southern Mississippi. Again, they offer a great ratio of staff to campers, and they serve a pretty wide range of ages from 7 to 17. And they offer a variety of sessions. They offer 6 different 3-day sessions. So, this camp might be a great option if you're looking for a shorter session. All right. Camp Aila. This is another co-ed camp, and their tagline is, within a well-rounded traditional camp program, Aila is a small, supportive community that helps campers improve their social skills. Aila campers are bright, creative boys and girls who have difficulty connecting with their peers. So Camp Aila is a great camp for those that might be diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome or nonverbal learning disability, and that might want to work particularly on their social skills and interaction with their peers. Camp Aila says that all counselors are passionate about working with their kids on the spectrum and are mature, kind, and thoughtful young adults. They also have a program for older teens who have completed 11th or 12th grade, so this might be a great one for those older teens. And they do offer buses from the New York and Boston areas as well that can pick up campers at the Boston airport. Extreme Sports Camp. Now, we have gotten a lot of great feedback from this camp. It's just one of those fantastic ones out there in Colorado that their tagline is, unlike their typical peers, Children and adults with autism spectrum disorders have few opportunities to experience the more advanced, age-appropriate physical activities which truly challenge them. Extreme Sports Camp provides this opportunity and the underlying instructional approach to realize it. So ESC has chosen sports that can be extreme to a child with autism, but which can also be mastered by that child through incremental learning. So I think it's just such a great opportunity for those that kind of want to go outside the box with those camps. Again, it's co-ed. The staff to camper ratio is 1-to-1, serves a wide range of ages from 7 to 23 years old, and they offer week-long sessions. Special diets can be provided and adjust on a case-by-case basis, and scholarships are available for the Extreme Sports Camp. So this is another wonderful camp in Washington, the Glen Homeschool Summer Program. Their tagline is, "The summer program invigorates the mind, body, and spirit through the myriad of activities that provide fun, active participation through competitions, team development, and skill-building efforts." So this has a little bit of a larger staff to camper ratio of 1-to-10, and they provide kind of 2 sessions, one for 3 weeks and one for 7 weeks. So that's a great option that they have for you to choose from. The Glen Homeschool has a specialty in working with students with Asperger's syndrome. And something that I thought was unique is that the staff at their summer program are all full-time Glen Home employees. So these are not just summer instructors, or students just working for the summer program. These are all boarding faculty. Special diets can be accommodated here, and they also have 4 nurses on staff 7 days a week that can administer medications. It's important to mention for this one that scholarships are not available. However, if a special education student in a public school has a 12-month IEP, you may want to ask if the school board can fund. Camp Keglewood, their tagline is "Love One Another." They're located in beautiful Georgia. It's another co-ed camp that has a staff to camper ratio of 1-to-2. Their age range starts at 12 and up, and they offer both day and weekend trips. So these Camp Keglewood, offers camping trips facilitated by counselors who have been trained by the administrative staff and are either working or studying in special education or related field. It's important to note that each trip is facilitated by at least one counselor with 5 or more years of experience working with children with special needs. And they can actually accommodate special diet needs at Camp Keglewood. And they do offer scholarships as well. Camp Huntington in High Falls, New York. As a proud member of the CRC Health Group, we embrace these 5 core values: respect, integrity, accountability, responsibility, and excellence. So Camp Huntington provides great support with certified instructors. These are instructors are also first aid and CPR certified, and they also provide one on-site nurse at all times at the campus for 24-hour coverage of medication, which is wonderful. Special diets are also assessed, and most can be served at camp, including gluten and casein-free. And I thought it was important that they noted that the level of supervision that each student receives is in direct correlation to the level of severity of their behavioral issues. So they do provide a level of support based on each child's specific needs. Financial assistance is available at Camp Huntington, so inquire if that is an important need for your family. I loved this one. being in California, this is just a great opportunity for those that love the water and the beach. So Surfers Healing and San Juan Capistrano. Um, Surfers Healing creates an opportunity where autistic children and their families can be exposed to a completely new experience of surfing. So Surfers Healing offers a 1-to-1 staff to camper ratio. They are open to all ages, and they have camp dates available from June through September. This was kind of a unique camp. Surfers Healing was founded by Israel and Danielle Paskowitz when their son Isaiah was diagnosed with autism at age 3. Like many autistic children, he often suffered from sensory overload. Simple sensations could overwhelm him. The ocean was the only place where he seemed to find respite. Included in the camp are complimentary drinks and snacks, and there's some contact information if you think that your child would love to be involved with the ocean. Now, this is also a unique camp that offers locations in a number of different places: Colorado, Alaska, Nantucket, and New Hampshire, which I thought was pretty cool. They also are a co-ed camp and offer whole family options. And I wanted to mention that the mission of Adams Camp is to maximize the strengths and potential of children and young adults with special needs by bringing together dedicated families with outstanding professionals and volunteers to provide specialized therapy programs, family support, and recreational camps. So when I was looking into this camp, it just seemed like a wonderful option for those looking for a whole family camp. And just the experiences that were shared on their website seemed like a really wonderful option if you're looking for that. All right, so now we're going to, we have a large number of families that are in the Lone Star State of Texas. I'm just going to briefly go over some of those options for you. So there's one in Elgin, Texas, called the Down Home Ranch. And they say that Ranch Camp is an innovative camp for teens and adults with intellectual disabilities, designed with their special needs in mind. So this is a little bit for the older aged campers. They serve ages 13 to 22 years and above. For those above 22 years old can do the adult camp. They offer 6 different 6-day sessions, and the staff to camper ratio is 1-to-3. It's important to note that this is an overnight camp, so campers are typically dropped off, but transportation can be provided for those that are out of state. Parents are also welcome to bring in special food at Down Home Ranch to accommodate their special diet. So that's kind of a unique feature. A lot of camps do not allow you to bring in your own food, but they do at Down Home Ranch. Also, just in terms of the counselors, they're carefully screened, typically college-age students, most majoring in special education or a related field. And counselors do receive training in first aid and CPR during their orientation. Camp Blessing is another one located in Texas. It's in Magnolia. And they say that we hope to provide campers with unconditional love, acceptance, and fun, demonstrating God's love for them and challenging them to participate in all activities to some level of enjoyment and success. So this camp serves ages 7 to 30 years, and they additionally offer some adult camps, and they offer 5-day sessions in June and July. Special diets can be provided, as well as medications and supplements dispensed as directed. Scholarships are also available for Camp Blessing, and the counselor training is important to note that it covers topics such as personal care, safety, behavior management, and diagnosis-specific care. And that everybody over 18 years of age that is interested in being a counselor does have to go through a background check. So Camp is in Center Point, Texas, And camp's mission is to strengthen and inspire individuals with special needs and those who care for them through recreation, respite, and education. So this is another co-ed camp that offers two types of staff to camper ratio, 1-to-1 to a 4-to-1, depending on the child's needs. And the acronym for CAMP is Children's Association for Maximum Potential. That might be important to mention. Campers are divided into tribes based on age and sex. So even though it is a co-ed camp, they do separate into tribes based on if they are a male or female. Counselors do have first aid training and a background check is completed. Parents are responsible for transportation to and from the camp, but all activities do occur at the camp's facility at Center Point. Camp can accommodate any special dietary concerns. They frequently prepare meals for vegetarian, gluten and casein-free, kosher, or any other specialized diet. They do also accept parents bringing in their own food. Again, scholarships are available for camp, so if you're interested in that, please inquire. This is kind of a fun one in Austin, Texas, provided by the Austin Dog Alliance, called Canine Kids Club. And if your child is particularly drawn to animals and dogs, Canine Kids Club provides programs designed just for kids. Children receive a tremendous self-esteem boost and sense of responsibility when they learn to care for their dog. So this is a co-ed camp offered for ages 8 to 16, and it's an 8-week camp that is just 1 day a week. So this might be something a little bit more unique that would fit in with your family's schedule. Canine Club is designed to reinforce and teach appropriate social behaviors in a setting that's fun for the children. The students are engaged and receptive to learning because they're having fun and interacting with the dogs. It's important to note that the instructors of the sessions consist of certified professional dog trainers, and that there is a special education teacher with Round Rock ISD and a social communication skills specialist and an available psychiatrist when needed. They also offer group social skills classes, and that can be those can be supplemented into the 8 weeks with a Canine Club instructor, Rainey Toman, who is a BCBA of ABA Today. It's also important to note that therapy dogs are utilized for this segment that includes hands-on dog training. So there are trained therapy dogs. Also important to note that you could explore the option of private insurance for the 8 to 10-year-old program, and that some school districts will reimburse parents for the cost of this recreational activity. Special Farmers. This one is located in Athens, Texas, and it's a unique camp that kind of weaves in artistic and practical disciplines into everyday life skills and challenges. So campers are able to learn to garden and care for small farm animals. So it's kind of a unique opportunity. Special Farmers recognizes and respects the uniqueness of each child. The program's primary mission is to foster a love of learning and social interaction in each child. The cost for each 1-week session includes meals, speech therapy, and field trips, which is kind of nice. Cris Hills, this is a camp in Sunset, Texas. And this camp's tagline is to present Christ to his special kids through a consistent and positive environment that produces healing, education, and growth. So this camp definitely incorporates a religious aspect. It offers sessions for ages 7 to 18 years, and it offers both 1 week and 2-week sessions in June through August. It has a staff to camper ratio of 1 to 3, and it is a co-ed camp. The counselors at Cris Hills are typically college students, ages 8 to 23 years old, who generally come from teaching, recreation, or psychology fields with the desire to gain experience working with children with special needs. And the counselors are provided with week-long trainings, including behavior management, child abuse prevention and detection, communication, disabilities, leadership, professionalism, risk management, supervision, and game and time fillers. Also important to note that Cris Hills has a licensed nurse on staff 24 hours a day for the summer, and that the camp can meet most special dietary requirements and can administer alternative supplements that you provide. Camp Summit in Argyle, Texas. The mission of Camp Summit is to provide barrier-free outdoor experiences that promote personal growth and foster independence for children and adults with disabilities. This is a co-ed camp that has a staff to camper ratio of either 1:2 or 1:1. It offers opportunities for ages 6 and up. And these are all 1-week sessions from May to August. It's important to note that at Camp Summit, the counselors don't have any specific certifications, but once they are hired, certain positions do have training provided for them for certain certifications. Unit leaders are all trained in CPR, first aid, and crisis intervention prevention. They also wanted to note at Camp Summit that they make it a point to be in contact with caregivers at all times. So if it would help put you at ease that if you had a consistent contact with the counselors, Camp Summit might be a good option for you. They also do accommodate special dietary needs, so that is an important thing to consider. This was also another unique camp that we wanted to feature, located in Austin, Texas, Magic Camp. So if your child is particularly drawn to magic tricks or things like that, this one might be a great option for you. At Magic Camp, they say everyone is welcome. If we could rename it, we'd call it Self-Confidence Camp. And also they do offer a session in Homestead, Florida. So if you are out of state, that might be a good option for you. It has a little bit of a higher staff to camper ratio of 1:8, but they do offer sessions for ages 5 to 12, and they do both 1 and 2 week sessions. If your child does require special dietary needs, it's important to note that the meals are on a sack lunch basis, with the exception of 2 sessions will be at Gaddytown and Gaddyland. And meals are included with the tuition. The staff has an awareness of medical facilities as well. So if any behavioral problems or anything occurs, they tend to be minimal, but they are accepting of all individuals. And it's typically, they say, uncommon for them to ask parents to take children home. They're, even though this is not specifically a camp for special needs kids, they have a lot of experience working with children with special needs. This is a fun one. As you can see, the fun pictures at the bottom. Kids are taught and experience just a wide range of magic tricks. So that might be a fun and different camp to explore. Camp Forall is one of my favorites. Camp Forall is a unique camping and retreat facility that works in collaboration with other nonprofits to provide life-changing programs for children and adults with challenging illnesses and special needs. So this is located in Burton, Texas, and Camp Forall actually provides half of the cost for each camper. Some camps charge the remainder portion, but most campers actually do not pay at all. So this is a really great option for those that are requiring a help with the cost of camps. Camp Forall does provide a barrier-free facility, dietary appropriate food, universal programming, and a professional staff. Partners bring their campers, their volunteers, medical staff, medications, and occasionally additional programming supplies. So this is kind of a unique program that is definitely worth exploring, and they do actually offer sessions all year round. And there's also no age restriction, so Camp Forall is definitely an option if you feel like the other camps are offering too many restrictions for your family. Kind of going along with that, I wanted to talk about camp scholarships. As I mentioned, camps, there can also often be high costs associated with some of these camps. But don't let this deter your family. You just need to ask. Even if it's not advertised on their literature, it's important to ask what options are available for camp scholarships. So just a couple questions to kind of ask when you are in contact with those camp administrators. What sources of funding do the camps have available for financial aid? And what information does the application require? How many campers are served by a scholarship? And how many slots are still available? So that's important to ask even, if a camp says that they do offer scholarships, it's important to ask at that time how many slots are still available. Another couple things to consider if a camp doesn't offer scholarships, community fundraising. So this is something that I have talked with many families about doing, and it's been an extremely successful and creative way to raise funds to cover the cost of camp. There's so many different ways that you can, do a community fundraising event, and most of the time people are very receptive to it. You can organize a car wash, do a bake sale, do recycling. There's tons of ways that you can let your family and friends know that you are raising funds to help your child go to camp. Another option is state departments. So although state budgets have been reduced for items like camp funding, it's still worthwhile to contact your state Department of Disability and ask about potential funding. Another option is respite funds. These can sometimes be used for camp funding. Consider this option. So just nearing towards the end, I just wanted to talk about some of the positive experiences that you can gain from sending your child to summer camp or participating in a family summer camp. Many parents feel that summer camps provide a beneficial experience for their children. The camps can be an enjoyable opportunity that help integrate valuable life skills, facilitate interaction with peers, and gain experiences that would not otherwise be accessible to them. Here's just some quotes directly from parents that kind of talk about their experience putting their child with special needs in summer camp. Zach is definitely a more mature and more confident kid, and we think camp played an important role in this transformation. Each summer at camp has brought greater skills in self-organization and a growing belief in his independence. He has proven to us that with the right kind of support, he can and will find his place in this world and he will thrive. In addition to everything else that camp offers, this immersion in a culture of fun, loving, and respectful group interaction is not readily available at the all too often segregated world of special education. What you demonstrate so beautifully gives our special kids a sense of how they fit into the larger world instead of only in a constricted world which revolves around them. Camp provides a loving, nurturing, and fun atmosphere for kids who need more help and supervision than the typical child. So these are just a handful of quotes that are feedback from parents after sending them to some of these summer camps. All right, so I know that this is sort of nearing the end of the presentation, but I wanted to bring up some resources for you all. Now, I know this is a great place to start, where to search. And I've put in here a list of links that you can visit that produce, oh my goodness, just more options than you would even know what to do with. So, this is such a great place to start just creating that list, that database of camps that could be potentials for your family. Again, these links will be available on the recording of this presentation on the Johnson Center YouTube channel. And you can also shoot us an email at the Johnson Center and let us know if you would like these links as well. So I also wanted to talk about something that's really important to us at the Johnson Center, and just in the special needs community in general, it's becoming more prevalent to address the needs of siblings, of brothers and sisters, of children with autism. As many of you know, these siblings do face many challenges. They often become overwhelmed with feelings of jealousy, resentment, loneliness, or inadequacy. And summer camps for these siblings can provide a number of important benefits, including just a relief from these feelings. It can provide a respite. Respite is not only for parents. Sometimes these siblings can really benefit from this. Just connecting with other siblings who get it. They don't have to explain or make excuses for some of those challenging behaviors of their sibling with special needs. That they can just be surrounded with other kids who just get it. A lot of these sibling specific camps can allow exposure to valuable learning activities designed to help kids understand autism and navigate family and peer situations that might be difficult. A lot of these camps can offer a learning experience for new coping skills. So, how to deal with some of those challenging emotions that come along with being a sibling of a child with autism. And then just again, a chance for siblings to enjoy something that is all their own. It's something, it's a place that they can go and they can just focus on themselves and just have fun. So the Sibling Support Sibling Support Project is a resource designed for children who have brothers or sisters with health, developmental, or mental health concerns. And the project publishes this Sib Shops curriculum, which is designed for siblings of children with special needs. And this is important. I wanted to bring it up just because the Johnson Center does offer a Sib camp during the summer, and we also follow a curriculum from the Sib Shops. And it's just been incredibly successful. This type of curriculum can be incorporated into summer camps, across the globe. And if you're interested in kind of exploring more options for siblings, their website offers information about the programs and just a lot of great information on how siblings can connect with other siblings. Again, if you're interested in taking a look at the SIB camp at the Johnson Center, which will be offered this summer, you can contact Jeanna Martinez, and there is her email right at the bottom. Here are just some references, for a lot of the quotes and some of these notes that I have spoken about. If you're interested in perhaps reading about some literature, here are some references that you can take a look at. And now I'm just going to take just a moment as I leave the references up for you to submit some questions here. If you have anything that you would like to ask me just in terms of the information that's provided, or maybe just share some of your concerns to other attendees to the webinar, I'd be happy to share that with you. Okay, so I received quite a number of questions just about finding camps in specific locations. And as I pointed out before, there would be so many options to name. I'm going to go back to the slide on the resources and where to search. You can, in all of these websites, you can actually target the area, the state, the city that you're looking for, and it'll come up with a large number of options for you to explore there. A couple of you also asked, is there a video of this, the webinar? And as I had mentioned before, the Johnson Center does offer recordings of all of our live webinars up on our YouTube channel. So I highly recommend that you visit YouTube and subscribe to our channel to view all of our recorded webinars. And there's actually a link in your control panel. If you scroll over to the chat tab, you can see a link there to visit and subscribe. Okay, so one of our listeners said, I am terrified to leave my child at an overnight camp. I feel like I would have to go with. And I wanted to read that direct quote because, just so many parents share the same sentiment, and it's not abnormal in any way to feel terrified about approaching an overnight camp. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I think the best way to approach it is to just create an incremental plan. Start with baby steps. And just see where you get from there. And there's, like I said, there's so many benefits that you can gain from a day camp as well. If you don't feel like your child or that you are ready for an overnight camp, there's plenty of other options out there. But if that is something that is kind of your goal, is the overnight camp, just set up an incremental plan. Start off, staying out late, like I said, at a familiar place. Then go to the next step, staying overnight, but stay with your child. And just move up in small steps, and you really will be surprised at to what you and your child can accomplish. Okay, so we are actually going to wrap up the presentation. We are nearing the end of the time. And I just wanted to, again, thank you all for attending and sharing your thoughts. This is such an important topic for all of us to discuss. And again, I welcome feedback. Let me know what you guys find out there and your experiences in summer camps. We would love to hear about it. And if you have any questions, please feel free. Sorry, I'm going to skip here to the end. Feel free to contact myself, Nisey Webb. It's been a pleasure speaking with you all today. And I would be happy to provide some feedback and resources via email. Have a wonderful rest of your week.